3 hours to film a 40-minute feature film. And I thought Dark Souls was hard. Joel Haver is either an Insano-style psychopath, or he's trying to tell us something no one's ever really looked at before. Why else would he tell a bunch of independent filmmakers to not watch the award ceremony unless he knew about something that was going to happen? Something going on inside of the Oscars that none of us are allowed to know. I think this is bigger than us. I think when Joel's Oscar stream is live, I don't think it's just a piece of entertainment. I think it's a warning. I think it's a warning for the Hollywood elite. Part of them knows deep down that there are people that are onto them, onto their lies. There's got to be something deep here that most of us have overlooked. Something that Joel is trying to tell us. I just have to find out what that is. The clues are there. Somebody just has to do the work. Somebody has to dig deeper. At the very least, the deconstruction of feature filmmaking is underway. At the same time, making an entire movie, even if you have a bunch of friends, is almost impossible to do in 3 hours unless you're totally Insano style like Joel. The rest of us are going to rely on weird tricks and all sorts of shitposting chaotic garbage to make this thing last for 40 minutes. So the only way I'm going to be able to do it, because I'm completely on my own here in the physical 3D reality, I'm going to have to call some friends. And then I'll be able to discuss how I'm even going to approach something like this improvisationally.
I realized that Joel Haver, with that stream in the background, it's all a cover-up, dude. There's a reason he's trying to draw attention away from the Oscars, alright? Because the Oscars are more than just the Oscars. It goes far deeper than that. All of the attention of the elites are all directed and trying to suck away everyone's attention to this one point in time, and it's just a distraction. And so for me, in my sort of Rorschach crazy detective state, I've realized that Joel Haver's stream is not just a call, it's not just a sign for other filmmakers to inspire them. It's a warning to the guys in the Oscars that there's something else coming, that we're waking up, that we're not dumb, all right? We're not just sheep. We're realizing, we're seeing between the lines, we're seeing past the lies, and that means we can make films. But also, why can we make films? Because we're not fucking enslaved by their agenda and their media they're trying to put through our heads. And for me, it relates to time travel and parallel dimensions. Why?
I hope this is rolling.
It's all rolling. It's all rolling. And why does it come down to time travel? That's obvious. And it's clear on the map. It's clear on the map that Christopher Nolan hasn't won an Oscar because he's trying to reveal all the signs through his filmography. If you watch it in reverse, you'll be able to see that all the signs are very clear. He hasn't won an Oscar because he's revealing the secrets of time travel, parallel universes, and the nature of black holes and love in ways that the elites don't really want us to know. And so he'll never win an Oscar because the elites are hoarding the time travel technology, parallel dimension technology. So why Justin Roiland has never won an Oscar. Joel will probably never win an Oscar. Joel Haver is in cahoots with Justin Roiland. So it's quite obvious. And Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, he only won an Oscar when he made The Revenant. And something's fishy about that, man. He had to eat a buffalo, a raw liver, and he's a vegetarian, dude. So that means like they probably did some shady shit. They basically like sold his soul. They corrupted his soul to get him in the Oscar game. So that means that they're doing some weird shit, you know? Leo should not have eaten that raw buffalo liver or bison liver, you know what I mean? Shouldn't have happened. But that's not important, all right? What is important is that we're enslaved by media that has been put into our brains. Ever since we were children, we've been shown what to think and how to think and why to dream and what to dream. We're just fed these images, consumer images of like, you know, all of these ideas of dream or romantic relationships or dream ideas of ways to live that are basically just feeding us this capitalistic Western US dream. And now they're doubling down with like the technological sort of sucking away our souls that doesn't allow us to think for ourselves. We're brainwashed into not being able to use our imagination, and we have to realize that that's not the way to live.
I didn't ask for all those booties on my screen. Like when I turn on Instagram, it's just nothing but booties. Yeah, and you know who's doing that? Who's doing that? That's my question.
It's a very. I'm pretty sure the algorithm knows you. You know, when you stop on those things, it just scans the length of time you stop at every image. So it just knows you so well,
Right.
just so well.
Right, in my off time, I look at booties, so it makes sense that it would also show me booties. So maybe that has nothing to do with Leo or Nolan. You know, maybe that's just me.
But they're keeping you distracted. You know, when you're looking at Instagram booties, what are you doing? You're not creating. That's for sure.
That's for sure. They know I like the booties. They got me where it hurts.
Yeah. So the answer is we either throw away our phones, or we use our phones and the technology to turn it around, put the camera on them on the Oscars, and make a movie. Make a movie during the Oscars, use our imagination, turn the technology on them. That's the only way. That's what Joel's trying to show us.
Yeah, it's fight. This is the revolution, and you know, it's inappropriate nowadays to fight a revolution with weapons. So you know, the camera is our sword, and we will show them. We will turn their propaganda against them. We will start our own propaganda machine that is an anti-propaganda machine. And Joel and Leonardo DiCaprio will be our captains.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You figured it out, dude. See, it's not that
They
weird.
made Leo eat that bison liver, man. I can never live that one down.
Yeah, it's clear as day. The writing's on the wall, dude.
Yeah, in blood.
Yeah, writing's in blood. That's why I need the red string and the red marker to make it clear.
Frankly, and it actually makes a lot of sense now. Why did Christopher Nolan never win an Oscar? I mean, he's a genius, but his messages are too true. They if too many people accept those messages, you know, we're gonna have too much power. They can't hold us down if we're strong.
What if the Hollywood elites access different timelines? What if they can choose the timeline that they want to be in? What if we could access parallel dimensions? Justin Roiland knew. There's got to be a community of truth seekers out there. Dimension hoppers. After a little bit of research, it became obvious that they do exist. The dimension we live in is known as 982. How many parallel universes are there? Is there a universe where Leonardo DiCaprio has never won an Oscar?
Yeah, so I opened up Reddit this morning, and nothing's ever going to be the same. Nothing. I'm a part of this Reddit group where we try to figure out how to jump to different dimensions, and it's mostly a fun time. I didn't take it too seriously, and one of the things on the website, so that you haven't ended up in a new dimension, is they label it. They label that we are in dimension 982. Everyone knows this. But today everything changed, and it doesn't even have a number anymore. And I don't know where I am. I don't know when I am. Whew, but I might have found it. I might have found the root timeline. I think I gotta go. I think they're looking for me. I'm sure they're looking for me. I gotta go.
This universe must not be what people say it is. I'm gonna find the gateway. I had to search the dark web. Turns out there are meetings of people that know things during the Oscars. Now, I was going to do this part with a friend who has studied acting and has a degree in physics, so we could have some improvisational dialogue about quantum physics and all sorts of parallel reality things. But he got sick the day before shooting. So I'm going to have to go on over to my hobbyist quantum physics sort of interested friend, who also is the opposite of an actor and doesn't really do this sort of thing. So we'll see how that goes instead, because anything goes in this film, right?
You must tread cautiously. For every action you take, every thought you have, every minor bowel contraction that you experience or ignore has repercussions that echo not only throughout the future, but throughout the past. For this very moment is all moments converging in your very mind. There is a consciousness that is present at this very moment. Although you can't... Alright, let's try that. There is a consciousness. It is present, and yet it is elusive. And once you are worthy, once you are prepared, once you are enlightened, it will open the door and let you step into infinite universes that are beyond your current conversation. You have to take the gamma and multiply it by the gigatronic psychology. Let's see. I haven't spouted technobabble in a decade. So. Alright. I have acquired the data, and I have established a contact for you. He was waiting for you on the other side, and his name is Sergen.
Oh, this is
the other guy would have definitely been better for this role.
Yeah, it's alright. Time-like displacements, energy real, mass real, mass imaginary tachyon. Can you say something like that? Like the people at the Oscars are hoarding the tachyon space, and they're displacing time in their favor, but there's a way out or something like that, you know?
Alright. The cinematic elite is hoarding, is dominating the tachyon quench. I'm at a loss for words.
That's good.
I'm struggling to speak at all at this point.
Oh man, yeah. I guess you haven't really been.
This is my life. I speak entire sentences maybe 3 times in a whole day for years on end.
And now you're doing full-on improvisational theatrical acting. Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
I struggle to form words.
Yeah, you don't think linguistically so much anymore. All right. Shit, dude. Then how are we gonna do this, man? This is this movie is fucking having a hard time.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let's just stop for a moment and rewind. Congratulations for making it this far. I think now is the time to present you with something completely different than what you thought this movie was. First of all, you have a choice. You don't have to keep watching. And what I mean is, you don't have to keep watching in a chronological order. This is now turned into a video game where you have options. Now, if you want, you can see this from start to finish, but I think it's more interesting to use the footage that I have to create a little bit of a video game experience so you can get the feel of a journey through an interdimensional metaverse exploration. But you don't have to you don't have to watch in order. You can choose any one of these time codes that I'm going to give you throughout to just get to the end. And it's a way for me to make this a little bit of a hybrid movie and a video game. And I think it's kind of cool that we're deconstructing filmmaking in the way that I feel we're supposed to experiment with here. And I think Joel Haver did it with his one movie that halfway through turns into a musical and then becomes this entirely different movie about editing the experience that he had with the girls that he was meeting. And I think I like that we're able to, especially because we have to make these creative choices in such a constricted period, we basically have to do something that is redefining how we view feature films in general. So without further ado, let's just see what attracts you the most. Just choose something, you know. Let's see where this goes.
Oh, hey.
So we have arrived.
What is that even? Who am I? What is going on here?
You are me. Or rather, we are thee. And this is everything that could ever be.
Is that so?
Well, it is if you want it to be. You see,
I mean,
you've passed through the gateway. You have opened your probabilities into a, how to say, you're folding back on yourself.
It's pretty trippy, dude. I don't really know what to think. Are those the Georgia guides? Dude, what the fuck is this? Those are the Georgia guidestones. Aren't those about like, killing people?
Look, we were tight for cash. We had a space available for rent. And there's nothing we can do out until the lease is up. So let's move on. I'm not too.
Where did you go? What? I thought this was your world, man. What are you doing?
Excuse
You're
me.
making-
I had a moment.
You're making yourself look bad, dude. How am I supposed to know that you're somebody important?
Importance is entirely relative. I'm important because I'm here, and this is the most important part of your entire existence. This is the point at which the past, the future, and all possibility converges. This is the point in which Leonardo DiCaprio has received an Oscar, as well as Christopher Nolan. I know you decoded their filmographies.
It's supposed to be the other way around. It's supposed to be that they haven't won an Oscar. Leo has never won an Oscar here, and that's why he's against the Oscars, because he knows something they don't. He's never going to get one.
Oh. I don't remember much.
All right, fuck. That's fine. We'll skip right past that.
You have finally discovered the secret of cognitive resurgence. Your mental resonance has resonated with the... Okay, I can't. My mind is empty.
You know, we got enough. I think we're good. Have you been recording?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think we're good to go, dude. Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh shit.
Am I wearing a mask because it makes it easier to voice over everything that I'm doing? Yeah, I'm voicing over stuff in post-production. However, everything that you're seeing was filmed during that 3-hour period. I'm just taking advantage of the Deadpool effect.
Come here a little closer. Will you carry me away? Stay forever and a day. Come here a little closer, and I will never run away.
The bridge between filmmaking and video games and real life and social media are converging into a single point. That's VR for you. We've entered the Truman Show. Yet it still gives us a sense of anonymity, a sense of freedom. However, we are still parallel dimension hopping, jumping to whatever universe, whatever dimension aligns with what we think we want to act out, how we want to be seen, who we want to be with. What are we running from? Is VR a way to come closer to ourselves? Or are we always escaping from something? If we try and run away to another dimension or another country, is it not the same thing? Are we just running from ourselves? Maybe the only dimension hopping that really matters is the one within. The one of imagination, where we have the real sense of connectedness within ourselves. When we know how to choose and to be where we are fully. When we know how to choose who we are in the moment. A way of finding a transcendent dimension, not one that has to be sought outside, but that is available within, an infinite multiverse within us. Maybe the metaverse is just another matrix, another series of distractions. And maybe it takes us closer to who we really are, allowing ourselves to explore our imaginations outwardly allows us to reflect inwardly on what it is that we really want. And only when we finally use technology to turn inwards do we realize what it is we've been seeking all along.
When all wrong, you're my only one, moon and sun, we've just begun.
Alright, okay, welcome to the time travel section. You know, I was pretty inspired by what Shane Carruth was able to do with that movie Primer, where for about 20 minutes, almost nothing really happens except for a couple of guys talking about engineering some device that we don't really know is a time travel device, but they keep our attention held for 20 minutes, which reminds me of like what, you know, you can do with a very low budget feature film like we're attempting now, and you can have a very slow burn to revealing something very awesome and epic and mind-bending, as long as you talk about for 20 minutes something with such purpose, and it makes it feel like there's some sort of scientific exploration of something that's going to happen, that's something that's going to be revelatory. You know, it's interesting that you can kind of get by on that promise, and I would say that movie delivers. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Primer though. We're here to talk about time travel in general. Now that you're here, you know, we can just kind of meditate on the nature of time travel. Alright, here's a quote from Buddha. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. You know, Buddha really did have a lot of wisdom. Alright, and then here's a completely different type of quote. A quantum mechanic does not fix your car, but he may fix your time machine. A motto of the Physics Conscious Research Group. I'm not, you know, it seems like a joke, but I can't really tell if they're being serious. You know, a quantum mechanic does not fix your car, but he may fix your time machine. I think that's what they're going for there. So here's the thing about like this quantum physics language about time travel. This is kind of at a really theoretical point, so in some ways you could almost look at this in terms of fantasy, but it's fun to think about. It's fun to think about how we create our experience of timelines based off of what is called a possibility wave and a probability curve. It sounds complicated, but it's really just about focus. It's really just about how you bring things into reality through focus, and how you make habits, basically. In this book, The Yoga of Time Travel, it also kind of talks about the reflections from the future and the past, and about how these things called possibility waves and probability curves are something that you can basically experience when you are in this place of focused meaning and purpose. And so like the way that he can explain going into the past as an example is that when we remember a past event, we are not digging through anything like a file or a computer memory bank. This is a quote. Rather, following quantum rules, we are constructing a past based on the multiplication of two clashing time order streams of possibility waves. Okay, that sounds weird, but then he goes on to say, taken literally, this means that the past stream, the one flowing from past to present, must originate in the past the same way that the present stream, the one flowing from present to past, originates in the present. Past and present then somehow exist side by side. Again, that doesn't really make sense unless you really take your time to think about it a little bit and to think about it in simpler terms. And so he goes on to talk about how the future exists side by side with the present, and that this moment we are sending possibility waves in that direction. And so there's someone, you could say, called me in the future sending back through time conjugate possibility waves, which will clash with the waves being generated now. But then there's this idea that if these streams match, in the sense that the modulation produces a combined wave of some strength, then there's a resonance, meaning that the future and the present waves are meaningful, and then a real future is created from my point of view in the present, and a real memory of sequences is created in the future. But if the streams don't match, meaning that the combined wave is weak and there's no resonance, then the connection of that future and the present will be less meaningful. Meaningful refers to the probability curve. The implied law of time travel is the greater the probability, the more meaningful the transaction and the greater the chance of it occurring. And so, okay, this sounds like it gets kind of hard to understand, but it's something that needs to be meditated on. Like, it's really interesting when he talks about how it's possible that the closer in time the sources of these waves are, the more likely it is that they'll create a strong probability. Like, if you imagine something in the near future that resonates with where you are in the present, those possibility wave streams resonate and they're like, okay, that's gonna happen for sure. But then basically he talks about how quite possibly visionaries are those who successfully marry streams coming from time-distant sources, and people unable to cope with life are those who lack this ability for even the shortest time distances. Like, you can't even get out of bed. You can't even allow a resonant stream in the near future to match with your sense of the present, because it's you can't even envision it. You can't even accept that future because nothing really makes sense. But if you're a visionary, then you can imagine something, and this is what filmmakers basically do, which is what becomes so interesting for me in this, is that we're basically time traveling. If you're a visionary, if you somehow find something in the future that could be so real, so meaningful, that where you are in the present will guide you towards that. Your stream in the present, like Donnie Darko coming out of you that you can like follow, becomes very clear when you can focus on it, and you're allowing yourself to marry the bridge of the gap between, say, like you and 2 weeks from now or 3 months from now. It's like the stronger your ability to envision that future mapping out, and the more willing you are to follow that stream of focus, the more likely it is to happen. And it gets weird when it talks about the present, but I think it has to do with the way that you view the present, and that your the resonance between the present and the past have to do with the way that you tell yourself a story about the past. And in some sense, you could say that you change the past by looking back and rewriting the way that you perceive it, because a lot of things are subjective, and the things that happened in the past you could probably forgive, and that would change basically the idea of the story that you're telling yourself. And you can go from, say, being a victim to then realizing that you have accountability for everything that you've lived in your life. As a basic example about how if you change and rewrite your past, it's a version of time travel, and that now your present sense of self has changed. And therefore, if you align your past, present, and future with a coherent and focused vision, then you can basically jump between realities that you choose, because you have this coherent sort of sense of self. And I mean, I think that happens in the coolest way with being able to generate art. So that's kind of the stuff about time travel. Oh yeah, you're
Hey.
Jesus.
Hey,
What is this?
I'm sitting in a car, so I'm like low to the ground, I think.
Oh, what is this world? This is pretty cool.
No, I invited you to a rave. You invited me here.
Oh, I don't even know what I did.
I like this
Should
place.
we go to the rave?
Nah, the rave
Yeah,
sucked.
it's cool. There's like a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Oops, I punched a wall.
Jimmy's mom. Hey. Kiss
I'm being surrounded, Srivas. You gotta get this, Srivas. They all love me.
I love you, baby. It's fucking Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I just realized it's Jesus Christ. Carl Wheeler meets Jesus Christ.
I sacrificed myself for you and you.
Carl
and
Wheeler
you.
meets Jesus Christ.
I
God.
sacrificed myself for all of you. And now I'm
You
back.
did? Oh my God, I fucking love you, Daddy. You're my dad.
I'm back, baby. I'm back. That's right.
Fuck
Now
outta
you
here.
should, like, you know, cook for me and massage my feet. You know, all that.
I'll
all that
suck your
good
dick.
stuff. You know, maybe just the massage, you know?
Maybe just the tip.
Alright, things got weird fast.
Yeah. Alright. Well, just your Savior, Lord Jesus Christ here. Coming through. It's clean. The software, it's a good game. Like, everything works well and simple. I like it.
Right, yeah, that's why it's like a good childish experience. Like I feel like I'm a kid when I'm here, so it's like good in that sense.
Yeah, it's like the Mario of metaverses, kind of. A small, like a circle.
Yeah, like I'm in a small oval. Like I'm not actually in it. I'm like in a screen within it.
Yeah, I get that when I move. It's to eliminate motion sickness from movement.
Really, where like most of your field of view is covered by like
Yeah.
just squares.
Like I'm looking through a black porthole.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Only when I'm moving forward. When I'm standing still, it goes away.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty weird. All right, well,
Is yours always there?
yeah, it feels a little unnatural, but I guess it's all right. Yeah, well, welcome to the 18+ side of Rec Room.
Yeah, looks like ain't no
Who wants
kids
to
here,
kiss?
except probably everybody.
Are you gonna kiss that guy?
I mean,
How's
I
your
guess
day?
I'm down, dude. I guess I'm down. I'm trying to record it.
It's Mustard Bin Laden.
He's like, no. Hey, Hey, what? I'm up here.
Oh, hey.
We gotta get down. We gotta go to. We gotta
maybe
fight the
not.
fire. We gotta fight the
I'm coming
fire.
down. Fuck you. Alright.
What's up, dude? Man, this is something else. I didn't know you knew how to work the pole.
Yeah, dude, I got talents nobody knows about.
I don't want to know. We'll keep it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can't DJ. See, the DJ his name is Bot. He's a robot.
Yeah, well, whatever. Dude, VR chat is like, when you go to the VR chat clubs, it's so much crazier because, like, it's like, you know, it feels more real.
I'll gift you some. You're pretty motivational. It looks like he's right out of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I look like what? You look like you're right out of Elden Ring.
What
the fuck is this? What's Elden Ring? Tell me you're joking.
Elden Ring is pretty good, bro.
I'm not joking.
It's an MMORPG, bro. It's basically a Dark Souls open world.
Are you from like Brazil or some country that doesn't sound like I'm from
I'm from Brazil. I'm from Brazil,
You're
mate.
from like the Amazon
Do I
jungle?
sound
How
like
do you
this?
not know what? Are you from the Himalayan mountains? Like, how do you not know
Listen to
Elden
like
Ring?
my sexy accent, bro. You really fucking
Yeah, I don't sound like them, bro.
How do you not? Alright, he's fucking. He's obviously.
what's good, G?
It's like
Maybe.
It's like you're. It kind of feels like I'm in a club, dude. It actually feels a little bit like that.
Right. Oh, for sure. It works. This is the most club-like in Red Room that I've seen so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, congratulations. You made it to the end. Let's pretend that I had the ability to film my character proceeding through the metaverse and was in search of something that was meaningful and that took the character to a realization of, I think there's something about the search for parallel dimensions is something that doesn't really matter unless you go within. When you're able to imagine a life for yourself, and when you're able to imagine, then you are building the timeline that you want, and you're building the reality that you want for yourself. You don't have to look for them outside because you're tuning into someone else's channel. And so when you realize that like you have the remote as well, the way to change that channel is to use your own imagination. And these are things that we all know, but it's hard to get inspired to do so unless you have someone like Joel that is basically sharing this essence of imagination with all of us. And I found myself inspired by the Neverending Story because although the 1980s movie ended rather abruptly, there's a sense that in this movie you get to explore the ability of rising up out of despair and depression, which is the nothing that is the antagonist of the world, and only by remembering your imagination can you be able to bring Fantasia back into existence from falling apart into nothingness. And so the character in that story has to like contend with a meta narrative and has to go inside of the story to actually be able to help the realm. But what's interesting is at the end of that story, the kid becomes too full of himself because he realizes that he can imagine anything, and then he is seduced into thinking that he should crown himself emperor of Fantasia. And so then the problem is he ends up going to a loony town for all of the previous emperors of Fantasia that have imagined themselves into being gods, and then he ends up losing everything because he was too proud. Everyone hated him, everyone went against him, and pride comes before a fall, and it was evident for him. And so then only when he was able to surrender to a level of humility within himself and the imagination within that wasn't revolving around trying to dominate others and just create everything for the sense of immediate self-gratification, he finally went into this Ouroboros realm of imagination where he saw like this fountain of life and realized that he needed to bring imagination back into the world, and to do so would be acting on the basis of love. And so the story ends with realizing that and remembering the relationship that he had with his family back in the real world, and knowing that the power that he had gained from everything that he experienced can now translate into how he can help and be a part of the world around him, and to not lose his imaginative powers, and to remember the powers of love in ways that even Christopher Nolan does with Interstellar. But I think Neverending Story is able to do it in a great way, and I highly recommend it. Michael End, Neverending Story. This is all an advertisement for that book, and because canonically, however you say that word, in the canon of Neverending Story, every single book is involved in the Neverending Story. It includes every single intellectual property because that's the idea of the scope Michael End was working with. Every single product of the imagination lives in Fantastica, as it's called in the book. And so every story never really ends because it's a part of the never-ending imagination that we all share. And Joel has kept us on board this train. And as content creators now in this sort of world of online distribution of content, we can do anything. So let's do it.